What are you running away from?
The parlor scene, it's so magnetic. It's like one of the more magnetic scenes in movie history.
Wouldn't it be better if you put her someplace?
You mean an institution?
She's leaning in physically to the conversation, kind of trying to figure this guy out. And I think it feels like what she's trying to figure out is, why is this guy not trying to fuck me?
We all go a little mad sometimes. Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
That was in Hitchcock's design essential, that Norman be my dad.
Are you alone?
I've got a date with the prettiest girl in school.
It was very comfortable for my father to be an all-American straight kid who could headline movies and movie musicals. That was easy.
I don't want to die. I don't know if I could kill anyone if I tried.
He was a young teenage heartthrob. He was always kind of a little off, and that was what made people interested, I think.
And you're killing me. You've been killing me for years. Yes, you haven't. It's too much.
He went to acting as a way to be anything but himself.
You are like all the beautiful things in this wood.
He was tender and warm, and everybody wanted to take him home, and then he did Psycho. Norman Bates changed Anthony Perkins' life forever.
Gee, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you in all this rain.
Psycho appears, and it's like there's no mask. You're playing your own internal stuff. There's no remove.
Did she arrive with anyone?
No.
Did you spend the night with her?
He is giving you that character in every twitch and in every nervous, jittery, candy-eating thing that he's doing. Hitchcock is cannily and maybe cruelly finding all the Anthony Perkins parts of Norman Bates and vice versa. That just becomes a thing that you just don't shake.
The fact that, yet again in his career, Hitchcock cast a closeted gay actor to play the monster male figure in his movie, I think is telling. It was clearly a pattern in his career.
Hitchcock knew that my father was queer, and that was sort of a motivator in hiring him for the part. So the narrative in my house was Psycho had been too bright for my dad, and therefore was the end of him as an actor, really. It was like his coming out and his funeral at the same time. In one swift move, the whole jig was up. Psycho was no good for him. It was too good. It was too good and therefore no good. It had damaged my father's career because now no one could see him as anything else. There was no freedom in 1960 to say, oh, and by the way, the reason why I'm so great in this role, I'm just like that. If my father had made Psycho and then somehow miraculously had been allowed to come out and had said, look, you out there in the audience who ate that up. I mean, you eat it up. And what you're eating up is truth, right? You ate up Tony Perkins' truth. And he's got a lot more of that. He's got a lot of that. He's a human being. That could have been mined in a way that just couldn't be. There wasn't an outlet for that.
If anyone gets any answers, it'll be the psychiatrist. Even I couldn't get to Norman. He knows me. You warm enough, miss? Did he talk to you? No. I got the whole story, but not from Norman. I got it from his mother. Norman Bates no longer exists. He only half existed to begin with. And now, the other half is taken over. Probably for all time.
Did he kill my sister?
Yes. And no. Well, now, look, if you're trying to lay some psychiatric groundwork for some sort of plea this fellow would like to cop, listen, the psychiatrist doesn't lay the groundwork. He merely tries to explain it.
But my sister is...
Yes, I'm sorry. The private investigator, too. If you drag that swamp somewhere in the vicinity of the motel, you'll... Have you any unsolved missing persons cases on your books? Yes, 2 young girls. Did he confess to... Like I said, the mother. Now, to understand it the way I understood it, hearing it from the mother, that is, from the mother half of Norman's mind, you have to go back 10 years, to the time when Norman murdered his mother and her lover. Now, he was already dangerously disturbed, had been ever since his father died. His mother was a clinging, demanding woman. And for years, the 2 of them lived as if there was no one else in the world. Then she met a man. And it seemed to Norman that she threw him over for this man. Now that pushed him over the line and he killed them both. Matricide is probably the most unbearable crime of all. Most unbearable to the son who commits it. So he had to erase the crime, at least in his own mind. He stole her corpse. A weighted coffin was buried. He hid the body in the fruit stand. Even treated it to keep it as well as it would keep. And that still wasn't enough. She was there, but she was a corpse. So he began to think and speak for her. Give her half his life, so to speak. At times, he could be both personalities, carry on conversations. At other times, the mother half took over completely. Now, he was never all Norman, but he was often only mother. And because he was so pathologically jealous of her, he assumed that she was as jealous of him. Therefore, if he felt a strong attraction to any other woman, the mother side of him would go wild. When he met your sister, he was touched by her, aroused by her. He wanted her. That set off the jealous mother, and mother killed the girl. Now, after the murder, Norman returned as if from a deep sleep. And like a dutiful son, covered up all traces of the crime he was convinced his mother had committed. Why was he dressed like that? He's a transvestite. Not exactly. A man who dresses in women's clothing in order to achieve a sexual change or satisfaction is a transvestite. But in Norman's case, he was simply doing everything possible to keep alive the illusion of his mother being alive. And when reality came too close, when danger or desire threatened that illusion, he'd dress up, even to a cheap wiki board. He'd walk about the house, sit in her chair, speak in her voice. He tried to be his mother. And now he is. Now that's what I meant when I said I got the story from the mother. You see, when the mind houses 2 personalities, there's always a conflict, a battle. In Norman's case, the battle is over, and the dominant personality is won.
He feels a little chill. Can I bring him this blanket?
Sure. All right.
Thank you. It's sad when a mother has to speak the words that condemn her own son, but I couldn't allow them to believe that I would commit murder. I put him away now, as I should have, years ago. He was always bad, and in the end he intended to tell them I killed those girls and that man, as if I could do anything except just sit and stare, like one of his stuffed birds. They know I can't even move a finger, and I won't. I'll just sit here and be quiet, just in case they do suspect me. They're probably watching me, Well, let them see what kind of a person I am. I'm not even going to swat that fly. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see, and they'll know, and they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.